What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we actually have some great news for you guys. Is the NFL salary cap is expected to increase a ton over the next 5 years. So this has a direct impact on the New York Jets with them a little behind the eight ball in terms of their salary cap situation. This should give them more flexibility. But let's dive into what Brett Coleman had to say, famous NFL YouTuber, and he was just breaking down the cap on Twitter, and he made some very interesting points, saying the salary cap is going to explode again. And it's all because of change in how Nielsen measures ratings. Starting this year, they are leaning into using data directly from smart TV manufacturers to measure viewing habits in addition to the traditional at-home panel method. This means NFL ratings in particular from Sunday Ticket on YouTube are going to be accurately measured. And that number is going to be way bigger than you think because of just how many Gen Z and millennials consume football on streaming services. More accurate ratings means the league's next broadcast rights negotiation in 2028-29 is going to be way more expensive, which ultimately means massive jumps in the salary cap. So we'll break down what this means for the New York Jets here in a second. But before we do so, I want to get you guys an updated look here at our AFC East sub battle. We're taking on Patriots today here at Chat Sports. I actually sit right next to the Patriots Today host, so I'd love to catch them in subscribers. So if you guys could go down there, hit that subscribe button to help us reach 4,000 subs, and don't miss a thing around your New York Jets. I'll have a video for you guys every single day this offseason. All right, let's just go back and look at how the NFL salary cap has jumped over the last couple of years. So it is projected to be anywhere between $277.5 million and $281.5 million. We're just going to use the projection of $280 for today's show. But in 2021, the COVID year, it actually decreased to $182.5 million. But then we saw the jump in 22, another jump in 2023, and specifically over the last 2 years, the salary cap raising almost $55 million from 23 all the way up to 25, a 13.6% increase in 24, and then a 9.6% increase in this upcoming free agency period. So what does that leave the New York Jets at their current cap space? They already have now $23.85 million, but the Jets are not done. There are countless number of moves that they can make to create almost now $80 million in cap space. Like, the Jets are actually set up pretty decently to make some big time moves here. And the number one guy that could get cut and could completely change like this Jets, organization, what they're going to do moving forward here is actually Davante Adams. Now, Davante Adams, there is no doubt, the Jets were a little over their skis trading for him last season during the year. They thought maybe they could go on a playoff run. Obviously did not end up working out how they expected it to. And with Davante Adams having a $38 million cap hit over the next 2 seasons, he is the most likely player, not just on the Jets, but in the entire NFL to get cut. But here is a post-June 1 release/trade number. So if they designate him as a post-June 1st trade, they would actually save more money, $36.25 million in 2025. But you wouldn't be able to use this in free agency. You would get this obviously June 1st, and that creates a dead cap of 6.27 in 26, and then in 2025 a $2 million dead cap hit. But I think it's more likely that Adams is a pre-June 1 release. Now, biggest reason is because the Jets would take this $30 million in savings. They would be able to use it right away in free agency and addressing some of the big-time needs on their roster, but also the dead cap. Now, with Aaron Rodgers, they're going to make him a post-June 1st cut, so that's going to put $35 million of dead cap in 26. So I would assume they would want to have that Davante Adams dead cap hit be on the 2025 books instead of overloading the 26 books, when I would assume the Jets are going to want to be aggressive and trade up for a quarterback. But listen, there's also no doubt Adams is a very, very good wide receiver. He's still on the borderline of a top 15, if a top 12 guy still in the NFL, especially during the second half of last season. He really turned it up. But this is a no-brainer for the Jets to cut him. Like, if they were in a different spot where, let's just say, they had a franchise quarterback in place and they were just knocking on the door to compete for a Super Bowl, then maybe you restructure them. But I think with where they are at right now, you kind of want to reset, get rid of all those Aaron Rodgers guys on this team. And actually takes us to our second cut candidate here, Allen Lazard, another guy that is pretty much likely to get cut. And also another reason why I think they would make Adams a pre-June 1st cut is because you're only allowed to designate 2 guys as post-June 1, and Rodgers already has that one spot. And I think Allen Lazard is more likely to take that spot over Davante Adams because the Jets actually don't save too much money on the 2025 books, by cutting Lazard pre-June 1, but if you look at the post-June 1 numbers, they would actually save $11 million. Now, yes, you don't get this for the upcoming free agency period, but you can pay like your draft class with this money. You can also for example, if the Jets need a help at the cornerback position, they can just call Stephon Gilmore or one of these veterans in August and use some of that $11 million in saving for that. But if you cut him 11 there, $30 million for Davante Adams, you're already almost up to $60 million you can spend this year in free agency. And with this new news on the NFL cap, I think they actually got a better chance to re-sign DJ Reed if they want to, and obviously if DJ wants to return to the New York Jets. I am still a big fan of having the tandem of Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed on the perimeter. Both those guys are, top-tier cornerbacks in the National Football League. DJ Reed was awesome, specifically on the first half of this season, and maybe him trying to get $15+ million. Jets didn't really seem too enticed with giving him that before the salary cap news, but after the news we just got, I think it reopens the door of DJ Reed returning to the New York Jets. But I'll ask you guys this. I want to know your thoughts down below. Would you re-sign DJ Reed? Give me an S for sign or give me a P for pass. Your new GM, Darren Mougey. You guys let me know what you guys would do on DJ Reed. Give me an S for sign or a P for pass. All right, now I do want to go over some Jets free agent targets with the more cap space they have, because maybe the Jets are viewing this situation and saying, hey, we can backload a lot of these contracts in free agency. We can get aggressive this year and really build a solid foundation and kind of change the culture here with a couple of key pickups. But I do want to start off here with the quarterback position. And I think Justin Fields is the most likely option to be QB1 for the New York Jets next season. Now, yes, you still have Tyrod Taylor on the books for $6.8 million. You also got a guy like Jordan Travis, but we have gotten many reports that the Jets have interest in Justin Fields. He's a dual-threat quarterback. Apparently, they want that archetype of QB being QB1 for the New York Jets. And Fields, if he's going to go out there, get a one-year, $10, $11, $12 million deal, if I'm the Jets, I'm taking a chance on him, because if you looked at some of these other guys like the Baker Mayfields, Geno Smith, Sam Darnolds, they have gone to other organizations and they have thrived there. What if Justin Fields is the next man up in terms of that career arc of these QBs who are drafted by the original organization and then they go to another team and find some great success? But let's talk about some cornerbacks here, because if it's not DJ Reed getting re-signed, I think they could maybe target a guy like Rasul Douglas, Carlton Davis, or my favorite target here is actually Asante Samuel Jr. He had a down year in 24, but he was awesome in 2023, so I could see them maybe going after Asante Samuel Jr. Then maybe you call like a veteran like a Jonathan Jones or a Stephon Gilmore or Mike Hilton, as training camp approaches here in late July, early August. But I don't think Byron Murphy has a chance. He's probably going to go back to the Minnesota Vikings. Charvarius Ward, maybe he's got a chance to go to the Jets, but he could also get priced out of New York. But let's get into the right tackle spot here. Ronnie Stanley, maybe the Jets are saying, hey, we're not going to draft a quarterback this year. We're not going to trade up, but we want to solidify kind of the support system for a quarterback down the line. If you go throw big bucks to Stanley, you got him at right tackle, Fashanu at left tackle, you got a solid interior of your offensive line, two good backs, you still got Garrett Wilson, then let's just say you draft Tyler Warren, you would have a great support system for a quarterback in the upcoming years. And plus, I really do believe this support system matters so much more than people think in terms of these quarterbacks for, great reason why I was just talking about guys like Geno, Baker, Sam Darnold. When they were drafted by the original teams, they weren't supported whatsoever. The Jets actually have a chance to get a decent support system. But a guy I don't want the Jets to sign, Cam Robinson, he's supposed to get around $17 million. Now, listen, I watched the Vikings very in-depth this past football season, and Cam Robinson was, pretty solid for the Vikes during the first couple of games, but he got his ass handed to him during the second half of the season, mainly in those big-time games against the Lions and the Rams in the playoffs. So I think the contract projection for him being around $17, $18 million is a little rich. So I would rather have them just say, hey, screw it, we're going to commit the Ronnie Stanley and overpay for him instead of just kind of getting the next best option in Cam Robinson. But maybe they could target a guy like Milton Williams as well. I would be a huge fan of him next to Quinnen Williams. You would build a Williams wall on the defensive line. But Milton, he's a pass rush specialist. He had a monster game in the Super Bowl, 2 sacks, had a forced fumble on Patrick Mahomes, and him and Quinnen would build, one of the best defensive tackle duos in the National Football League. So I would be down to throw him 3 years, $60 million, or whatever it ends up being for Milton in free agency. But I do think the Jets are probably going to have to address the wide receiver spot. Maybe a guy like Chris Godwin could be there for New York, because you're going to let go of Davante Adams. You want to bring a veteran in there for a guy like Justin Fields. this is not a bad option whatsoever. It's coming off a major injury, but still Godwin, I still think he has a lot of years of just, solid production at the wide receiver position left in him. I think him, Garrett Wilson, to be a great tandem. And honestly, like for Fields, like let's say the Jets got super, super aggressive. They drafted Warren, they signed Godwin, they get another right tackle. Like Fields would have a chance to be successful with the New York Jets. So I would be all in on him being QB1 next season. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just give me a real one down below in the comment section so I can know where all the real ones are at that watch this entire video. We appreciate you guys for staying through for the entire thing. And also a friendly reminder, just hit that subscribe button. We're closing in on 4,000 subs. So if you guys haven't already, lock us in, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Jets.